Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of the standing series from the Ashtanga Primary Series. We're going to start at the top of our mats, landing your Samastiti in Tadasana Mountain Pose. Really root down through the feet, draw the energy up into the legs, round and under and up into the Mula Bandha, drawing that pelvic floor up into your midsection, the Uddiyana Bandha. Trying to build that nice, long, deep ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. Really filling up the lungs and emptying them all the way out. Crown of the head reaching towards the sky, shoulders softening towards the earth. Okay, placing your palms together at heart center, we'll begin Samastiti. On an inhale, lift your right leg, step it about halfway back with your hands on your hips. Turn and rotate to your right foot, so we're closing the hips, squaring everything off. Clasp opposite elbows behind you to open up the front of the body, but elongate the back of your body. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, coming over your right leg, and only stop about halfway down to check in with the long spine, the flat back, the gaze down, the crown of the head forward. And you can keep this elongation of the spine. You can start to bring the upper body a little lower as you practice and get more time in with this pose. You'll be bringing your chin towards your shin. This is an intense forward fold, Parsvatanasana. After your fifth exhale, come on up on an inhale. Slowly rotate around to the left, and if you're clasping opposite elbows, just switch the grip. You stand nice and tall, long through the spine, and then hinge from your hips. Out and over the left leg. Crown of the head forward. Open through your collarbones, long through your spine. Pressing into the pinky toe, the big toe, the heel. And as you progress through your practice, you bring the chin towards the shin. Try keeping the spine nice and long along the way. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, turn to the side. And hands to your hips. Back to Samastiti. Great. One option there that we explored in the Parsvatanasana is clasping the elbows behind your low back. Another option is if that's too much, you can always just place your hands on your hips and draw the elbows back. Or if you have the mobility and flexibility to find reverse namaste hands, you could do that option as well. Okay, always lots of options, ways to modify and intensify in your practice. So that was Parsvatanasana. Right, the next few poses are really going to take us from that grounding and stability that we've been trying to find in our feet for balance to balance. All right, we are going to do Uttita Hasta Padangustasana. That's a mouthful of A, B, C, and D. Right, in the traditional Ashtanga Primary Series, there's only A, B, and C, but we are starting to move something called short form Ashtanga, where we take a lot of the traditional poses like the Surya Namaskar A and B, the standing poses, and then we start to explore and bring in a little bit of Western, modern, maybe making the practice a little bit more accessible if you don't do the full primary series every single day. Maybe if it's just like a way to make it more approachable. So for Uttita Hasta Padangustasana, I'm going to start facing you, bringing your feet hip distance apart, shifting the weight into the left foot. So maybe just coming to the tippy toes of the right foot and get used to the idea. Bring your hands to your hips that you're going to be putting all of your weight into one leg. Right? On an inhale, draw your right knee up, and as you exhale, reach for the big toe of your piece with your peace fingers. Extending the leg out long in front of you on an inhale. Right, standing up nice and tall, so you're pulling your femur, that big like bone right here, into the hip socket. You keep rooting down through the feet, engaging your core, standing up nice and tall. Take one more big inhale. As you exhale, open the leg out to the side. Right, turning your gaze away from the leg, challenge your balance. Right, I fell. Guess what? I just got back up. Right, it happens. Before we find growth, we fall, we get up. Right, this is Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana B. Bring the leg back through center. This is where we would end in the primary series, traditional, but in this one, we're gonna just try and reach for the foot with both hands, see if we can lift it up a little higher before releasing the hands to the hips and balancing here. So 4 poses instead of 3. Okay. Just a little different way to challenge you. Try not to lean back here, right? You don't want to compromise the spine to get height on the foot, all right? You could rebend it and lift it up, point or flex. It's all good. Gently bring it back down. Kind of shake that out a little bit. All right, that was the right side. I'm gonna do a modified version on the left side. So shift the weight into your right foot. Come to your left tippy toes. And on an inhale, lift your left knee up. Now if this feels okay, you could reach for the big toes and stay right here with the leg bent. But try not to hunch through the upper back, right? Try and stand up nice and tall. You're binding the big toes too much, again, just be right here. Then on an exhale, open the leg out to the side. Again, with or without the bind of the big toe, gently turn your head to the side. Bring your leg back through center. Maybe draw it up a little higher, keeping the leg bent. Or you can play with the idea of straightening it. And then stand up nice and tall. Extend the leg out. Take one more big inhale. And exhale, gently lower that down. Great, so that was Padangusthasana. Utthita, extended. Pada, your feet. Hasta, your hands. So Utthita, Hasta, Pada. Angusta is your big toe. Asana, right? So putting that all together and really challenging your balance, especially when you're trying to talk and do this, okay? And if your balance is really off, find your way to a wall, right? As you're learning the poses and find stability, you'll be able to pull yourself away from the wall. Or just, go for it. Come into the middle of a room and just be okay with falling, right? As we just get back up. Falling is growing. All right, so those are the next 2 in the part 2 of the standing series. The final part of our standing series, the final part that helps us really connect with the earth with our feet and thank the earth for supporting us in the standing flow, is breaking down the sun B. I remember way back at the beginning of our practice, we were doing one breath, one movement. We'd do a chair pose, the fierce pose, Utkatasana. We'd flow through a vinyasa. We'd add in Virabhadrasana on the right and the left. Well, we're going to do that now, but we're going to give it more than one breath. We're going to give them each 5 breaths. And we're going to introduce another warrior, right? So a warrior 1 is our closed hips. Warrior 2 is our open hips. And by this point in the practice, we're really starting to build the strength, lubricate the joints, and get to the point where we're ready to explore that. So I'm going to start this end of the mat from Tadasana. And on an inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana, fierce pose. 5 beautiful breaths, allowing you to really check in with the body from the ground up, engaging your bandhas, tuning into your victorious ujjayi breath. Sink one breath deeper, reach one breath higher. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right foot forward, left heel grounds. Come on up. Virabhadrasana 1. 5 breaths. Check in here. Pull the right hip back and the left hip forward. Bend deeply into the right knee and feel the back of the left knee reaching towards the sky. Let the shoulders melt away from your ears as you reach the arms up high to the sky. Maybe the gaze follows. Take one more full round of breath. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Exhale, turn and rotate to the other side. Warrior A, Virabhadrasana 1 on the left. Making all those little micro adjustments you made on the other side. Check in from the ground up. Feet, knees, middle, shoulders, head. Take one more big inhale here. Now exhale, we're going to open up to Warrior B. So the front foot stays put and we turn the back toes out. Maybe even slide the back foot a little further away. If it feels like you're leaning forward, you probably are. So bring your right hand to your right hip and bring yourself back up through center. So your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Gazing out to the right, left fingertips. Breathe here. We're really extending out through both arms. We're extending from the middle here. Check in from the ground up, the feet, the knees, the torso, the body side facing, the shoulders soften away from the ears. The gaze, drishti, out through the fingertips. Next inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, turn and rotate. Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2 on the right side. Nice, long, deep breaths. We get 5, right? We get 5. We get to play and explore this pose for 5 breaths. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down to the top of your mat, vinyasa. Remember those 3 poses, chaturanga, up dog, and down dog? Right there. And that's where we end the standing sequence. I'm gonna hop back up. I'll meet you in standing. All right, in the next video, we're gonna get into the seated poses. And we get into the seated poses, like we end that standing series and then we just go right into it. So I will see you on the next video when we get into our seated postures.